guys, so as you can see, my furniture is back with me, but I still have not had time to properly plan a video for this week. I do know that some of you guys wanted me to show off my music textbooks, but I thought we would take a break from very serious music things. I mean, as if last week wasn't a break enough. And look at my children's music books. I have a small collection. I don't have that many, but I did collect a few over the years. One, because I couldn't resist them. They are so cute. And two, I had this kind of lofty dream before that I would have a home studio. I would have like a waiting room, and I wanted to have music books for kids in that waiting room. That obviously has not happened yet, and in fact, I don't know if it will happen because all of my lessons are on Skype and FaceTime. In any case, I wanted to share it with someone, so I thought it would be the best to share it with you guys. First off, I have some flashcards that I used myself when I was a kid. My mom bought this from our local music store. This is 89 color-coded flashcards, and they're all about music. My mom is the best. I don't think you can tell on camera here, but she actually book covered this flap thing here. I didn't even notice this until now. I have been wondering to myself why it stayed so new. Like, doesn't this thing look new? It's not. It's probably older than a lot of you guys watching this video. I'm just gonna pull a random one out. Hey, do you guys know what this note is? What's really interesting is on the back, they show you on the staff where it lies and on the piano where it lies, which I think is great. This may be the reason why I know my notes via piano keys. I won't go into it in much detail in this video, but suffice it to say, in order to learn music theory on the flute or any instrument that is not the piano, it is actually very important to know where the notes are on the piano, because a lot of music theory is based around how it works on the keyboard. It looks like the white cards are tempo markings. Allegro is apparently quickly and happily. I've never actually heard that it's called happily. You learn things every day. Let's see what the green cards are. The green cards are, oh, musical notation other than notes. Fermata. I hope you guys know that one. This is the pedal sign. Blue ones are melodic and harmonic intervals and key signatures. Intervals, key signatures. Pink cards are like, looks like time signature, rhythmy things, rests. If you are a parent watching this video, this is very useful. My mom used this with both my brother and myself, and it has proven to work really well. So I kept this in the hopes that I could entertain kids in my waiting room, which doesn't exist. So I am now entertaining you guys with it. Next up, we have The Story of the Orchestra. I picked up this book on one of my trips to Ashland, Oregon. So if you guys don't know, there is an annual Shakespeare festival that happens in Ashland, Oregon. It feels like you are in the middle of nowhere in a very deserty, hot place, because that's basically where you are. My family used to go there a lot, and that's where I really fell in love with Shakespeare plays. I know that that sounds like a very weird thing to be in love with. It's just a whole different experience watching plays being acted out than reading them. So many things make way more sense. When I went to see Midsummer Night's Dream there, you know, before I went to see it, I did not understand what the fairies were all about. You know, I just felt like they were just speaking gibberish. But there, they interpreted them as just incredibly flamboyant, flashy, in your face, and it was fantastic. They really gave meaning to the gibberish, and I loved it. Anyway, that's Ashland, Oregon, and there is a bookstore there that we like to visit. It's a children's bookstore. We visit it because of the stuffed animals. I have stuffed animals sitting there that is from there. But I found this randomly there, and I just could not resist. String sections, composers. There's a whole spread on Schoenberg. For kids. This is for kids. Like, how great is that? They got huge spreads on like the different instruments in the orchestra. They even have like where they're generally placed in the orchestra. Can you imagine? Like, this book would be so great for kids to learn from when they're waiting for their lesson, or even if they're waiting for their siblings to get out of their lessons. If you guys have a waiting room for your studio, I really would recommend this book. Get this book because I think the kids would love reading out of this. It's just such a great way to introduce young children to the orchestra, and it just makes the orchestra, like the classical orchestra, a lot more approachable. Next we have Children's Book of Music. Now I can't remember at all where I bought this. I'm guessing I got it from Powell's bookstore, which is the largest bookstore on the West Coast in the United States. Again, see, look, they have this huge spread on Dvorak. I just love that this just makes everything about music and music history, Bach, just that much more approachable. They've even got a spread on Elvis Presley. This thing is basically taking you through music history. You probably noticed the other one had one too, but these children's books come with a CD that goes with everything in here, and it's just so good. I think the reason why I really like this book is because it goes from, like, you know, ancient world music, and it goes all the way through all the your typical classical stuff, but it also goes into pop music. See? I just love how it places classical music within music history. So it doesn't make classical music kind of look like a separate thing from pop music. This whole book is just about music, right? So they include classical music in music, and I think that's so great. Like, classical music is standing right next to pop music in this, and I like how that approach makes it more approachable for kids. Now this is more of a comic book. Imagery in Music, Italian Terms of Tempo, Character, and Spirit by Peter Correggio, illustrated by John M. Murakami. I used to draw a lot. I just loved the, what do you know? I left these two in here. If you guys have not seen Fairy's Errand, Death Waltz, and Prelude and the Last Hope in C and C sharp minor, you should go look it up on Google. It's actually on Google Images. You can find it there. This is pretty funny. This is like a comic book that goes through exactly what it says on here. Italian Terms of Tempo, Character, and Spirit. And it puts it in such like a really funny way. So this is actually a glossary. They have definitions, but they have the definitions with accompanying comics. Here, for example, for leggero, leggermente, leggerezza, leggerissimo. So they have this comic going on that goes through all of these definitions, but it links it in one comic, which I thought was so great. It blew my mind as a kid. I actually had this since I was a kid. I think I learned a lot of the terms actually from this book because it was just so fun to read a glossary as a comic book. I thought that was amazing the way that they went about it. I also just love the art style. So if you guys can get a hold of this is so great. I have actually saved a few sketches where I copied out of this book. I actually copied the comics because I love them so much. There is a very specific style to these drawings, so I was trying to mimic that. The next one is kind of a more serious one. I picked this up, I think, from like a random Barnes & Noble or something. It's called The Red Piano. I chose this one because it had Chinese themes in it. It was kind of going more into sort of my heritage. I think I got this during the time that I was really searching for, like, what is my place as an Asian woman in classical music, right? Because classical music is a Western art. All of its history is European. So where do I stand as a Chinese girl? So when I saw this book, I was like, finally, here is a children's music book that is about Chinese people. This story takes place during the Chinese Cultural Revolution, which was, you know, a pretty tough time for a lot of people. It still affects families today, mine included. It's a very serious children's book, which I appreciate. Sometimes we don't give children enough credit. Children really do understand deep emotions, and they feel it, and they're not afraid to feel it. They're not afraid to express it either. And I feel like this is a really good demonstration of the fact that kids can swallow something like this. But primarily I got this book because I was actually searching for, you know, something that I could identify with as a Chinese female classical musician. Also, the art is amazing. It's reminiscent of Chinese paintings. My grandfather did a lot of those Chinese paintings, and we still have most of his artwork, I think. The last one I've actually made a video about, and I was very delighted to have this join the ranks of my children's books. This is Green Golly and Her Golden Flute. My friends Keith Torgan and Barbara Cecil. They are a husband and wife tag team. They put on Green Golly shows. It's loosely based on Rapunzel, but it's like a flute playing Rapunzel, and I just love how sassy she is in this too. Green Golly has a lot of character. If you want more information about it, I will link my review up here for you guys, but it is a very, very good story. Really, really cute drawings, like that. They're cute. They're real cute. I would have been all over this as a kid. They sent this book along with the accompanying music books, so you can actually play the songs that Green Golly plays in here, right here, so you can actually learn it. So it's very interactive. I love that quality about it. It also comes with a CD. I think this is a CD where you listen to Keith and Barbara actually tell the story, and then there's another CD that has all the music in it. I hope you guys enjoyed this random video about my children's music books. I've always wanted to share these books with you guys, but I've just never gotten around to it until now. If you guys collect children's music books, let me know which ones you've found. So if you like this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up and hit subscribe for new videos every Saturday. My last video is over there, and if you want to catch me during the week, my social media networks are down there. But otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Bye. I also did that thing when I was a kid where I would draw Sailor Moon, even though I probably only ever watched 1 or 2 episodes of Sailor Moon. My friend was like, hey, you want to watch some Sailor Moon? And I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch some Sailor Moon. And then she doesn't explain any of what's going on. And I even told her I've never seen Sailor Moon, but I want to. She watches an episode that's like right smack dab in the middle of the season, doesn't explain what has happened before at all. So I'm just watching this random episode of Sailor Moon, and I have no idea what's going on. I mean, if you're plonked in the middle of the Sailor Moon world, it's pretty trippy. Unfortunately, I got a little bit weirded out by that. It's like she just assumed that I would know, even though I explicitly told her that I'd never seen an episode before. Anyway, we are getting way off topic, but I did that thing where I would draw Sailor Moon in all of my spare time. So I ended up doing a similar thing for this, where I would draw these comics in my spare time.